Obviously, this talk is about doing better talks, and that's what sort of you expecting it to be. What you're not expecting it to be is that I'll make several typical mistakes on purpose, and then after the talk we'll get to discuss it, so we see how it affected your perception of what I was saying. So all the information gonna be good, it's just badly presented talk about how to make good talks. So it's half talk, half workshop, and let's see if it works out. I suggest you watch and listen attentively so we can discuss it in the end. This is the most popular time around this event, and there are many good talks like exactly at this time slot that I wanted to be. So I expected being myself and the AV guy and like talking to each other. So thanks for coming, and so let's get introduced. This is my job title. The talk description told that I've been doing developer relations for 10 years, which is correct. For the last 8 years, I've been carrying this exactly job title. I just like it. I like how it's presented and like what people think I do. And if you look into the slide, there is one joke. The other 5 are correct. Like even the one with like shady dudes, that's still what I do, like hanging out with shady people. Yes, that's part of Evangelist joke. Imagine, I've been carrying this exactly job title for 8 years. Still, at least once a year, my parents get a call from some aunt or from some neighbors who see me on the TV. They don't understand what I'm talking about. They say, oh, the evangelist. So, and they call my parents to ask which kind of religious sect I'm working for. I don't do religious stuff. I do technical stuff. Now let's look at several examples of my typical work. So for example, imagine year 2012. Remember year 2012. At that time, I was part of a cool startup called Unity Technologies. And if you remember these times, like Android is booming, iOS is booming, everybody is trying to ship mobile games. Unity is sort of like on this wave. The technology is not there. Nobody knows how to do stuff. Nothing really works from techie side, both on the hardware side of iOS, Android, and also on the Unity side. And I know the drill because I sit with Unity developers and while they're fixing the stuff. And my job is to go around and sort of talk to people and explain them stuff. But I report to a business developer person, and his KPIs are sales. So my boss's KPIs are also my KPIs. So I have to facilitate sales. So my typical day, for example, this actually happened. So at King, when Unity visits King, when I was there, but I think it's also true these days as well. So a biz dev guy would occupy a manager who would care about Unity and let me stay alone with the techie people at King who care about adopting Unity. And they would ask me like, oh, will you fix this bug? I would say yes. Oh, will you implement this feature? I would say yes. Oh, this is what we need for from Unity at King. Will you do it? I would say yes. And this is how sales happened. And but the problem is there would be still lots of like people around who would need help. So my day job would be to help biz dev people sell the product, and my night job would be not to sleep and all that, but actually to help the community. So I don't have the guilt inside. Another thing, now I work for King. I still carry the evangelist job title. So at the time when we had business cards, there was an evangelist on my business card. So I was hired before Default went public, and my job was sort of to help find the place in the industry for that King's cool new game engine. And it went like this. This is a picture made by somebody in the community. It's from year 2016. So today you cannot recall this meme. It was a picture from the internet. There was like the first plane that you see, it's the plane of German chancellor, The second plane is French Leaders plane, then Iron Maiden plane. It wasn't photoshopped. The default plane, as you can guess, is photoshopped in, and it kind of depicts what I was doing. I was running around the world, bringing the message about default, about King, what we do, and I work with PR, with legal, and like in a way shaped and formed developer advocacy program, like at least on the public side in this company. Now you know what I do. Let's see how do I suggest to make better talks. Now I will throw in a lot of information onto you. I'll provide you with a summary at the end, and so we'll have a chance to recap this all. The information. I suggest that before you even start working on your talk, working on your slides, you ask yourself one question, and since you're talking to yourself, you can be super honest. Nobody would listen, hopefully. Nobody would hear. So why are you giving this talk in the first place? That's the first question I suggest you ask before like you do anything else. Like, why? Because I want to visit an event. Well, I mean, honest, you're talking to yourself. Or maybe because you want to share experience, like you have this burning passion for like, look, I know something I want to give it to you. Or maybe you want to do the talk because public speaking should look good on your portfolio, on your CV. Or maybe it was your manager who really wants you to sort of promote the product, and they were like, look, this is the event, you're going there. Why are you doing this talk? Why am I doing this talk, for example, right now? Well, I'm giving this talk because I like. It's fun for me to do it. So that's, but then also I really want to share experience. So then it's more than one. So I'm not really following my advice here, but. So the question number 2, I suggest you ask yourself before working on the slides. What is the one-liner takeaway for a talk? Like after the talk is finished, the audience is leaving the room. What is the one thing they keep in their head? Maybe they could be walking from the room thinking, oh, the speaker is cool, or maybe the product that the speaker was talking about is cool. Maybe the talk was about the company and like, okay, the company was cool. Maybe there was call for action, like game workers unite, or everybody use default, or like fiction is cool. I'm looking at Phyllis here in the room, like to try to make the connection with the audience. So let's see from my case, why, like what is the one line that at this very moment you think you would be leaving away with? It's like currently it looks more about speaker personality, but also maybe some piece of knowledge. So again, it's more than one. I'm again not following really my advice here, but the last thing, like what if you imagine the ideal audience for the talk? Like who would you like to talk to? What are they interested in? And you need this to sort of like understand how technical should it be. Do you put code in your slides? What kind of context would you have to provide when doing this talk? If you piece it all together, then you can ask yourself, okay, so what problems of my audience can I solve by doing this talk? And then it's sort of the right angle. Solving the problems of your audience should be the reason for doing the talks in the first place. But then now let's again look at this talk of mine. The talk was packaged as sort of the industry professional gonna tell you how to do better talks. Instead, the industry professional went like half the talk talking about himself, and then like had creepy slide saying like some useful information, and yeah, good observation. And here, look, we have bullet points and a lot of text, which is sort of another example of a best slide. And most of you are now reading the slide instead of listening to me, which kind of raises the question, why does this slide need a presenter if slides can speak for themselves? And then it's creepy heading. Some or most of you now got like, hold up a minute, so this was all on purpose? And the answer is like, yes. Yes, I basically loosely glued 2 talks into one, which made it hard for you to comprehend. By the time I got sort of till what I wanted to say, and then it was a creepy slide, you were focused on different thing and lost the attention. I valued what you wanted to talk about more than what you wanted to hear about. For example, this slide. This slide is actually a good slide. I could have put a meme here. I could have put a GIF here, which to sort of help resonate with you. But after all that information, right now, if there was a GIF, your brain would have focused on digesting the GIF instead of listening to sort of culmination of the talk. And I would have lost you. So let's recap. And again, like lots of information, bullet points, and my Twitter, my whatever, Instagram, which is sort of call for action, and your brain, your eyes want to read this instead of listening to me, and try to defocus, try to not do that, trying to see your eyes that you're not watching there. So actually my talk can be swapped with a single line. Be honest in what you do and care about your audience more than you care about yourself. And once again, like the whole thing, the whole talk can be packed into one line. Be honest in what you do and care about your audience more than you care about yourself. And I strongly believe if you follow just this one advice, you'll be able to do better talks. I'm kind of finished with the main thing, and now we can discuss what I did right and what I did wrong. Discuss like what was the worst part that totally messed your brain. Either I should have advertised this talk like differently or split it in two. This slide, I packaged so much information. Does anybody have an idea of how to improve that? So one approach is have like one bullet point per slide. Another approach is, since all of us perceive information differently, some use ears mostly, some use eyes, some whatever nose, I will be posting more videos like that. I will be deconstructing more talks. I will be turning to you in the comments, so you post links to your talks, your friends' posts, and then I can look at the videos and suggest how do you become a better speaker. I will do this as soon as you subscribe. No, I will do this as soon as I figure out the format. This is for you. In the meantime, subscribe, put a like. I value this so much.